All right. Thank you, caller.
That is the issue.
All right. Thank you. All right.
Good
Good
morning,
morning.
Fuad Abu Bakr.
Good morning, guys. Good morning.
Morning,
Why
Good
you
Fuad.
morning
playing
to
dance
Trinidad
around
and
so?
Tobago, all those who are logged on.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay. Our mobile app and our website, they're back up. So you can send your message. You want to listen to us on our app and website. We're
All right,
back up
let's
to
pose
normal.
the two questions to you. What is your response to the what now considered controversial statements of Mrs. Pasabi Sessa? Light them up, empty the clip, and reload. What is your response to that?
It has been making quite a rounds on social media. Of course, a lot of younger people who use those platforms and are accustomed to some of the terminology that she would have used, are interested by it. I don't think anybody in their right mind is taking it literally per se. I think it is sensationalizing an issue that is burning in Trinidad and Tobago, and that is one of crime and security. And some people will have their views. I hope their views are based on
You don't think an
factuality.
opposition leader saying light them up, reload, and empty the clip is to be taken seriously?
So I listened to the entire clip, the word we're using again, and she's trying to use language that probably Macmillan gave her to use, but I am not. I understand the sensationalism of politics. I understand that she's trying to drive home a point in a very sensitive society about crime, where people feel strongly that they need to protect themselves. But I mean, you can infer as well. Maybe she should be a little more responsible with her language, for sure, because you don't want circumstances and situations where individuals use excessive force and kill and seriously harm other citizens, even if they are attempting to come into your home or you perceive that they are attempting to come into your home. I've been reading this article about the particular lady who shot, they say once. The facts are very difficult sometimes to get her because we are dependent upon the media and the police, and sometimes the police feed the media as well. But I read some of the facts that have been given to us, but I'm also reading some of the other stuff, some of the suggestions of the father, etc. And you really want to understand the circumstances. I would like gun owners and future gun owners who are vetted and are responsible citizens to try the best to secure human life. Not only your own. You cannot be a coward carrying a gun. You cannot just shoot first and ask questions later. But it is a very, very tricky situation.
Would you be an advocate of more people getting FULs?
If someone goes through the proper process of vetting and is trained continuously, then I'm not negative towards thinking about giving individuals that right to protect themselves, especially in the context that we have now, where it really appears as though the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service cannot, along with the other agencies, get a grip on crime, illegal guns, violence in Trinidad and Tobago. You have to look at things. But I'm hoping that we do have changes in administration, progressive changes, and when brilliant young people like myself enter the responsibilities, that we have serious police reform, that we bring real changes to the education system, that we have serious interventions in our communities to bring about peace and security, where people will be less inclined to want to have a firearm to protect themselves. That is where we need to head. But I do understand the extremity of the situation at this point in time, and why law-abiding citizens would want the ability to protect themselves against people who are armed.
Yeah. But let's get into the politics of it, though, because you have now a representative of the PDP. Is it that you're... Is
Let me
that...
make sure you could see the
I saw the jersey from the time you came on. So...
and it is so trained in our minds that I looked and I saw two blue, but I could hardly see Steve, you know.
I not in no color.
This is just a
He
t-shirt.
struggled
It is
to put on a neutral
representing no
because of
political
what?
entity. It's just a
No,
t-shirt.
this is just colors.
It's just a t-shirt.
Politicians get so what should I say? They have
Caught
so
up
much
in colours.
that they think once you are wearing a color, you are
Yeah.
supported.
No.
You'll take the bait, boy. You'll take the bait. You know, that is where I want to go. I am not caught up in color, guys. I am really not even caught up too much in that fanatical emblem and whatever. When I spoke to Mr. Watson, we were considering working together in this local government election. Maybe to him it was more important to keep the flambeau. Is a flambeau, right? It wasn't that important at this point in time to me to have a crown on my jersey instead of a flambeau. So I had a few green ones that were not printed. I just sent it by my partner in long circular. He put on the flambeau and the whatever, and I remained the same. And I expressed extremely clearly to Mr. Watson Duke that I have a new national vision. I have a new vision for Trinidad and Tobago. And that is one that is not worn on a jersey or changes day and night. It is one that exists within me and within my mind. It is a philosophy that I live by, not just campaign by or speak. It's something that I live by. And I spelled that out to him, and he corresponded by speaking to me about people before politics and like-minded, ideology. And we have embarked upon this very, very necessary effort, particularly for me in the district of Port of Spain, where I've been working, the city of Port of Spain, to bring change. I really did not want to miss this opportunity to harness the sentiment, the pain of the people, and convert that into some real political change for them. And that is why I am here now.
Is it that you felt that being aligned with, because you say that caught up in the politics of it, but you're wearing a PDP t-shirt, and you've had your own political party for a while and contesting elections. So what's the advantage of having a PDP t-shirt at this point? Why not just go with your own party?
So it's more than the t-shirt. It is the ability to work with a larger team within the Port of Spain district that really interested me. And it is not just myself. There are 7 other excellent candidates, young individuals who I'm quite getting closer with, but some who I would have known before, who would have worked with me before as well, who have come together to make this effort. I really don't believe in this egocentric one savior idea that is bandied about and purported. I appeal to leaders across Trinidad and Tobago to understand the importance of us all working together for the benefit of Trinidad and Tobago, not just the spoils of winning an election. To me, that is short-sighted, ignorant, egotistical, and backward for the progress of Trinidad and Tobago. So, that is that's one of some of the things that would have really stood out to me in working together with a bigger team. I have worked on my own before. It is also extremely difficult. We still have not had campaign finance reform, which I feel is one of the most important reforms that we need, which will give younger, smaller parties, individuals who have a good heart, the financial ability to stand and go forward politically and have the resources to really have a fair chance. At the moment, you have some big players in the game who have state resources that they are utilizing illegally, who have convinced a lot of people within the electorate that your job and what you have is because of us. And if you don't continue to vote for us, you will lose it. In my mind, that is disingenuous, corrupt, and wicked. But those are the tools that they have at their disposal. They have, as I said, funding that they use from our money, Trinidad and Tobago, in local government and general government, the PNM particularly, and they use those funds. They put on football tournament, they put on King, they put on Best Village, all coincidentally around this time. They all sorts of stuff they do, and they tell you, nah, it's not because well, they tell the media, maybe they'll tell you all that this is nothing, this is just us doing whatever.
The road just happened to be paving now.
Yeah. But really and truly, we all understand what it is. And I want us as a
What is the PDP? What is
population.
the PDP offering in the areas that you're contesting? Because of course you're contesting Belmont North and West. You have been, as you said, and rightly so, working on the ground in the particularly urban centers for a number of years. What are young people in particular telling you about their involvement in this local government election? Because there's been an apathy in local government election voter turnout. And do you think that there, because of the size of this local campaign, it's not a normal local government election, as you can see. The major parties, it is high stakes for both of them, for both the PNM and the UNC. But there's also an interesting development in this local government election where, to me, there is a larger number of smaller parties and or individuals and independent candidates contesting for some reason in this particular election. Why do you think that is, one? And what are people telling you on the ground when you walk around?
Yeah, so the first thing that most young people speak to you about is jobs, and the availability of employment. So, that is difficult to deal with from a local government level. But we have conceptualized some policies, some local government that could assist in creating job opportunities, particularly for the young. I mean, it even goes beyond to the middle-aged and the old as well, who find that whatever they have put aside or whatever they have in coming in pension is not sufficient for the ever-increasing cost of living. So that is the main issue that they've put forward. With the very serious issue of crime, the very serious issue of the degradation of their constituency and their district in terms of infrastructure. There's a litany of issues that they have raised, but those are the ones that top the list. People have seen their standard of living diminish tremendously over the past 8 years. And they do attribute that to the current administration. What they are looking for at this point in time is a way out. And that is why, even despite my personal position, my growing family, my I have suffered tremendously as a young businessman as well in the harsh economic climate and from ever increasing cost of living, etc. Those are also reasons why it is extremely important at this point in time to work to bring an option of change. So, like you said, there are a lot of people who are offering themselves as well. Fortunately for me, in the district of Belmont North and West, there's red and yellow, and there's me. So there's only one option. And I have been saying that to the residents of the district of Belmont North and West, and it has been received quite well. I have only been turned away by a few elders, just a few, and that is expected. I actually expected maybe more, so that is heartwarming. Last night while I was walking at 8:30 p.m., one I saw a young man in a vehicle and I was speaking to him, and when I asked him his name afterwards to put him on my confirmed voter list, um, he gave me his name, and his name was synonymous with the PNM. His father is a popular individual and a stalwart. So I paused for a while because I'm now about to put him on my confirmed voter list. And he said, yeah, that's my father. Look him there upstairs now. But don't worry, he voting one way, we voting a different way. And that is heartening for me. When we as young people can see through the nonsense, for lack of a better word, the sycophant ideology, and really reach out to something different and something new to bring change. That really encourages me into the future. It is just a matter of organizing the youth and getting them out to vote. And like I said, that's the youth, but there are a plethora of older people who are conscious. Miss Clark, who said to me yesterday, listen, I's a rebel since I born, I fed up with them long time. And others who have changed their minds. And that is what we have to have in Trinidad and Tobago. If something is not working politically for us, then seek better ground. Let us create the conditions politically where we will get service. Don't hold on to an emblem or a color. I mean, that is childish, in my opinion. It is ignorant. And for us to move Trinidad and Tobago to a better place, we as human beings, we as Trinbagonians, we need to move to a better place. We need to get this going. So I'm heartened. I'm heartened by the efforts thus far.
Yeah, I know you would have aligned yourself with the PDP, and you said well, you felt there was some alignment in terms of speaking to Watson Duke, and I'm curious as to why you didn't look. Did you even consider the UNC, because the UNC made a clarion call that they were willing to align with anybody, and of course the NTA took it up. Do you see the UNC as an option, or you don't see them as an option? And if you don't, why don't? Why don't you?
So the conditions in Trinidad and Tobago and the leadership that we have at this point in time, in my opinion, has been so bad that even somewhere in my thinking, I have considered, the UNC just for what a lot of people are advocating, moving this heavyweight that is, bearing down on Trinidad and Tobago, which at the moment is this uncaring, heartless administration, this top-heavy, controlled by the 1%, oblivious to the plight of the average man, PNM. Conditions are so bad that imagine I could consider, the UNC. I think an immediate turnoff as well was the amalgamation with the NTA. While I do see some good people in the NTA, Mr. Gary Griffith is a definite turnoff for me. Just based on his track record, I know that people feel as though the show that he puts on, the Smoke and Mirrors, is convincing and he can bring some alleviation to crime. I don't subscribe to that. But he would have been a turnoff for the UNC as well. Doing something on my own, and when I say on my own, it cannot be on my own, but with young, fresh people who are not entrenched in this backward type of politics, who have not served before, who are new and willing to bring about some real reform and change, is the ideal way.
But that's interesting because Snook has had his share of problems and his quite public controversial issues in the past, starting with the PSA, going to the PDP, followed with Fuad Augustine and Tobago, inclusive of the Kizel Jackson scandal and all of that. So how do you reconcile saying, well, on one hand, you reject the PNM and the UNC, but Snook has also had his share of public issues?
Yeah, for sure. That is all. You sure I don't have any more?
Did I say something that wasn't in the public domain?
No, I said I wonder if it have any more. They might.
Well, no. I mean, you're saying it like if it's to be dismissed.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying
exactly.
That.
Is it an invalid question?
No,
an unfair question? Exactly.
I'm just making sure.
I don't have to go through the whole list. I'm sure you got the point.
I'm stating the point to state that we are in public life, and he has had his many flaws, and I pray, and when I spoke to him very clearly, we discussed some of these issues as well, because they are pertinent to the electorate of Trinidad and Tobago. And I pray that he is able to overcome those issues. I pray that he is able to show more discipline, in his personal life, which crosses and transcends into his public life. He has been able to do positive things as well as a union leader. And I pray for him and I encourage him. And my guidance as a right-thinking, probably the best heart there is in politics, alongside Mr. Duke, hopefully it will bring forth a better individual and a stronger leader who can overcome his flaws, because we are all human beings and none of us are perfect. But for sure, we need to look at leaders. We need to encourage them to be better. We will have our ups and our downs. I pray that we learn from it. I pray that even the current leader, because he's going to continue on as prime minister for some time, I pray that he can change his ways immediately and become better. But it is more than about Watson. And I think people should understand that. It is about bringing change for Trinidad and Tobago. And sometimes the catalyst for that are people who are not perfect, because we are human beings. So we go forward in this local government election. You are voting for councillors of your district. They will represent you. pay close attention to those individuals and ensure that they are the type of individuals who can carry Trinidad and Tobago forward.
Has the Bakr name helped you or hurt you in this campaign?
That's a tricky one, because Trinbagonians could be deceitful at times. Fuad Abu Bakr is distinct, I wouldn't say as a brand, but as a human being. I interact with the residents of Belmont, North and West, and even beyond that in my everyday life. I am a down-to-earth individual. I ask people to really decipher and look at an individual, not just based on the name, even not sometimes based on what they say. Actions speak louder than words. Feel people. Open your third eye or whatever else. Pray. Try to discern what this human being stands for. Try to discern what they are about, what drives them, what motivates them, and based on that, judge an individual. Not based on class, color. They are the type of men who could speak so beautifully about things, but they are the most contemptible of wretches. And I mean, I'm not short of the gift of gab, but look beyond even that. It has been nothing but love. As I said, maybe one or two individuals just didn't even want to hear me or consider me because I'm not PNM. Even some of the people who have had whatever inhibitions, Trinbagonians are usually people of love. They will still hear you out. And I hope that, from interacting with me, they are able to change their minds if they had misconceptions about me.
Is there a particular plan? Let's just say Fuad Abu Bakr is victorious in Belmont North and West. It is still going to be a PNM-run government, at least for the next 2 years until the general election.
Central government.
It is going to be, in my opinion, a mixed council of some kind. If other parties make inroads, because right now it's 7-7, and it's not going to be an easy road because you win a district. So what's the strategy in providing services? Because this is what it comes down to for people in representation. People want services provided. They want people to hear them, and they want some tangible results in districts.
Yeah. So as a council, and it will be a mixed council in Port of Spain, hopefully, we would have to sit down and work together. My skills and my ability to persuade and convince the other members of council, if they belong to a different party, to choose the right course for what is beneficial to the city of Port of Spain beyond politics would be tested. But that is the role of councillors when they sit in council. I would also try to bring the voices of the people of Port of Spain into the fore, because their voices should be heard. It should not be the political party directing the councillor to do something that is not what the people of the district want. Fuad Abu Bakr is not owned by the PDP or the NNV. Fuad Abu Bakr, as an elected councillor, is owned by the people of that district. And that is what we need to understand. As I said to the PNM councillor, you may not be the problem, but your party is definitely the problem. And that top-heavy approach that they take, where you are owned by them, is counterproductive to the understanding of representation that needs to take place in this district. So in those ways, I will work towards achieving what the people of Belmont, North and West, and Greater Port of Spain want. and it will be maybe a challenging time. Maybe it won't. Maybe I will meet young people who are, like-minded and inclined, regardless of the color T-shirt that they had on. And that is what I love with younger people in politics as well. They are not as hung up and stuck in this colonial, in my opinion, way of thinking, where the boss and the whatever, and we have to follow and toe this line. I hope that we can bring substantial change and real representation to the people of Port of Spain and deliver for them. If it takes the mobilization of the people of the area to demand more for local government, then I will encourage them to do that.
We may have
have
a
to do what we
history.
have to do.
We have a history of coalescing parties being successful at the polls. You had it under NAR, you had it under the People's Partnership, even at local government level. But oftentimes these coalitions don't hold because I suppose it's seen as opportunistic rather than a real alignment of values that coalesces along certain fundamental ideas
Correct.
that can stick.
Correct.
What makes this alliance between you and PDP any different? Isn't it just opportunistic? Some people will see it as just purely being opportunistic. Why shouldn't they see it that way?
And listen, I'm speaking to intelligent people, and I hope we can enlighten the listeners as well. There is the very important cross-section of seizing an opportunity and being able to, in the current circumstances, achieve what is necessary. And part of our alignment is that opportunity. It is the opportunity to come together in a greater group to remove a problem within our society and to bring about proper change. I hope and I pray that I am strong enough and influential enough within the party and the other voices. The consciousness, even in the man and the individual, is strong enough in all of us who have come together to direct us to that philosophy of people before politics, of bringing a new vision for Trinidad and Tobago. And I will say to you very squarely, as I have said to the residents that I've spoken to, if I turn out to be a bad councillor, vote my tail out one time, right? They should keep it to 3 years. Vote my tail out. And further than that, I've also said clearly to the public as well, that if we as a council cannot deliver, then judge us based on our efforts and see what is the stumbling block that is stopping us from delivering, and deal with us appropriately as your representatives as well. But I'm telling you, as someone who believes in a new national vision and who speaks to my other councillors, would-be councillors, I am convinced that we believe in bringing change. I hope that we can keep it together and we can push towards that change. And if we can't, then the electoral process is clear and you should seek better alternatives. Don't ever get stuck with someone who is not delivering for you. So it's quite simple to me, and I'm glad that you could express that. The bigger parties have their absolute challenges. You say that some of them align just for opportunity, and I agree, because their philosophy is null and void. It is absent. I feel as though the PNM and the UNC predominantly is just interested in power. I ask people to be very mindful and careful, even about myself and others. Discern as I come through your district. Speak to me. Take the opportunity to speak to me. Look me in my eyes when you ask the question. and try to figure out if I am genuine or not. If I am only interested in office and power, or if I am genuinely trying to bring some betterment to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Do that. Be that type of voter. Be one that is active and trying to bring some better change to Port of Spain.
I think that's what we're going to have to leave it this morning. I don't know if Paul has another question because I know time.
I was just going to ask a question as we started. It had to be a quick answer. What do you think is driving all this crime in the country?
Unemployment. We have a culture that is trending towards crime. I mean, not to bash Ms. Bisessa. If she could come and say, you've seen the dub overs with the Trinidad music, you knock it and ting it and whatever, which is very, very popular among the youth. Hopelessness, poor examples in government, in society, the breakdown of society, the breakdown of families, poor policing, no structural reform with our judiciary, no rehabilitation, constant conflicts between individuals that are not being dealt with within the society. We have a plethora of issues that have culminated in extreme violence. We have an angry population. We have young people who feel, just risk it for the biscuit. I think they say anything. Who do not have an expectation of or hope for living a decent life, who say to me sometimes when I ask them, well, how long you think you will live? 25, 28. Who look in their communities and the only person that is successful is someone who is involved in negative, illegal things, who look up to individuals who have money, regardless of their moral standing, how they got it. Once you make it, that's the picture of success. Who look up and say, everybody up there is criminals. So who is we? We have really reached a dark place. It's not over 1 year or 2 years. It's over quite a long period of time. And we need to come out of this dark place. Never will God change the condition of our people until we change what is in ourselves. We have a real job to do with ourselves. Good leadership can definitely help us. Morally sound. I'm not saying perfect, because I don't hold myself out as being perfect, but morally sound individuals who understand themselves, and
Fuad, thank you so much.
Emit that. I get a last word to try to encourage my people to come out.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. I ain't getting much airtime, so I take
we did call you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I hope the other media houses follow to give other parties and other individuals the opportunity. I really ask the people of Trinidad and Tobago to vote for change. Wherever you see something new and different, send that signal across Trinidad and Tobago. We are fed up. And the language that they understand is votes. Send that message. Come out and vote, young people. Vote for some change. Now is the time. It could do nothing else but improve your condition over the next 2 years until we are able to move these people from general government as well. All right, so thanks again. Blessings to the people across Trinidad and Tobago. Love.
Thank you.